Hello, everyone. Welcome to LOA Uncorked. This is Holly.
And this is Gina.
And we have a special guest.
Listen, this guest has been like bursting to come for 2 years at least, I would say, right?
Approximately.
Mm-hmm. 2 years.
2 years. And she is an international woman of mystery.
Mm-hmm.
This is the truth, Gina.
We're learning.
So do you want to introduce her?
I do. So we have Kelly Whinnem with us today. Kelly has been queen of
Kelly.
The podcast.
She is royalty.
For sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt your intro, but
Oh,
like this is our thing.
You're
right. I interrupt. I'm terrible.
She's well behaved,
but in all the good ways.
Right.
Okay.
So Kelly is truly, I think, the heartbeat, the backbone, and the cheerleader for the LOA Uncorked podcast, and has been a partner to Holly and I from the very beginning.
I mean, like
the very beginning of this idea.
Like cry a little tear that it's from the very beginning,
Yeah.
which is over 2 years. I mean, almost 3. I mean, almost 3
really
because we started well before we actually broadcast.
I know we were planning.
We were procrastinating.
I mean,
truth be told, we didn't like our voices, but we've embraced that now. It is.
Yeah,
what it is.
I think I asked Kelly in I think our very first conference, well, can you make me sound less like a dude? I think
you
was
did
exactly what I
actually.
did.
You
I did, yes,
You
because
totally
I thought my
did.
voice sounded like a dude. So which is not attractive and not at all.
Well,
what I'm
if you're
hoping to-
Aerosmith, it is.
Well, right.
It looks
dude
like a lady. Okay,
Yeah,
like this
yeah,
one.
I look like a lady, but I don't want to sound like a dude either. So, but Kelly has been our editor, our cheerleader, there's something fascinating about people when you work with them and you get to know them that unexpectedly like bolster you just when you like need it. And Kelly has been that for us. And when we talk through those people that live a life of passion and what they love, and they give back to others, and they just show up in this really authentic way, that is Kelly Whinnem for us. So we have Kelly on the podcast.
Queen Kelly.
The way we sign all of our emails and our texts to Kelly is with the little crown and the little headphones, the podcast headphones.
That's
so
so
that is
true.
who you are. So welcome, Kelly.
Welcome.
God, thank you.
Fabulous to be in your greatness today.
And you know what?
Look,
Like,
you guys got to go to YouTube if you're not.
Okay,
listening-
listen.
No, here's the thing. I was gonna say I have bad news. You guys can't release this video because you made me blush.
Oh,
No, listen.
Oh, I think
no.
it's so good. But here's the thing, you guys. We've actually been together for 2.5 years.
Never
at
met.
least. We've never met until
No,
today.
This is the first time in
And
real
Kelly
life.
gets out of the car. I'm like, holy hell, look at her.
We need to dress up Gina. We are
I was
frumpy.
underdressed.
Frumpy.
I
Call it frumpy.
I'm
land.
frumpier than I normally am.
Like,
like-
she gets Queen Kelly on purpose.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that
for
is-
sure.
For
For
yeah.
sure. Well, welcome, Kelly. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I am so psyched. And I don't know if you remember this, but part of the reason why it has, you say that I've been waiting for 2 years to come on here is because I offered at the beginning. I was like, if you guys are nervous and you want to do like a mock interview with me, just
Mhm.
kind of like,
love
we
that.
can figure it all out. And you didn't.
Oh, we did.
You did not.
We don't know. I
So,
mean, we
yeah.
did. I'm
We
sure
probably did,
Yeah,
really,
we
and that probably would have benefited us if
Yes.
we were smart enough to take you up on that offer.
did.
But thank you for coming on today. Like, I think what would be super helpful for us, I think would be great. It's always, as you know, you edit all of these,
That's true.
is like, share with the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, kind of what leads you to the work you do today and why you do it. And, a little bit about the LOA podcast and what you've experienced, I think would all be sort of helpful. And then we'll go from there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we should have really considered this beforehand. We really should have come up with a hand signal to
Yeah.
let me know when I'm going on too
Oh
long.
no,
Oh,
I don't.
but-
We have a
No.
great editor that can cut you off.
Yes, that's exactly what we tell every other guest. Yeah.
I've heard some really good things about your editor.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I heard she's
Yeah,
got just like a
so-
butt that won't quit.
No, I think you really will like self-edit because you're like, I don't want to do this on the flip side. I'll edit myself. before it gets to that point, right?
And normally it would, but you gave me whiskey, so
I did.
We'll see.
I did.
Okay, so I want to take us back in time to Thanksgiving of 2015. I was working, I was the manager of the men's department at a retailer that rhymes with Basie Benny. And I had to work a shift on Thanksgiving night. I was supposed to work from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. because retail is a hellscape. And then I was supposed to go back the next day at 11 a.m. So exactly 8 hours in between shifts.
Right.
And I got to work and I had a breakdown. And I realized I am so miserable here. I am giving away my youth and my sanity to a company that does not care about me. And I got sent home because I was, not composed. And the next day on Black Friday, I went into my store managers.
They literally said you weren't composed.
Yeah, they said I had to go home.
Oh wow.
Because I was
Basie Pennies.
Basie Pennies. I was not representing Basie Bennies, who else I should have been. And so I went home and I had like a real soul search, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I just turned 30. And so I went back the next morning on Black Friday and I put my keys on the store manager's desk and I said, I'm done.
Wow.
And
It's brave.
It didn't feel brave. It just felt like what had to happen.
Right.
And so
Did you feel like you were a failure?
No, you know what? There have been a lot of times in my life when walking away from something did feel like failure.
Yeah.
This just felt like liberation.
Oh, I love
'Cause
freedom. I smell freedom.
Yes, because I lived on the other side of this.
Freedom. Smelling
That's
freedom.
what it smells like.
Nothing
That's what it
smells as
smells
good as
like.
free,
You
Yeah.
wait for those
Yeah.
automatic doors to open and you
Oh my
sniff
God.
fresh air.
And then
And,
you
like,
sniff and you go, oh, I smell freedom.
It's outside of
I
Basie
had
Benny's.
to walk across this like sports field to get back to my apartment, and girls, I skipped across that
Oh, I
field.
love
Like,
that.
I pranced across that field, and then
That's how you know that you're in your power. I mean, honestly, that's how you know. If you feel good about that, even if it's scary.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
I mean, but I hadn't felt that light since I started
wow.
working there. And so
I love that.
And so then my older sister called me a little later that day and she said, did you block me on Facebook? Because my sister's very direct that way. And I said, no, I quit my job and I just deactivated it temporarily because I didn't want anybody talking to me. And she's like, oh, do you want to come work for me?
Oh, you're kidding.
So I was unemployed for 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
So what did your sister do?
So she at the time was working for a small digital marketing agency, and they were looking to hire one more person to just take over, writing a couple blog posts here and there. And oh yeah, if you could just take over editing this one podcast, that would be great.
No kidding.
No.
Yes. And I had never edited podcasts before. I had never worked professionally with audio before. And I just said, you know what? I'm a quick study. I can learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And it very quickly became my favorite aspect of that job. And so I went to the CEO and I said, can we try to get some more podcast clients? And he's like, well, I don't want to do that, but if you want to, sure, try to drum up some podcast business. And that eventually, he didn't want to run his agency anymore. And so I sort of created my own thing, and that's Face for Radio.
No kidding.
And I originally thought that I would primarily be working with dudes.
Oh,
I thought I was going to be working with basement dwelling, hobbyist guys who had podcasts about like making their own IPA or whatever.
Right.
Oh my God, I love it.
And I thought, okay, they'll probably want to work with a cute chick.
Right.
Yeah. Sure, whatever. But no, the very first clients I got from day one were women who wanted to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And they didn't know how. They had
a
great idea, but they didn't know how to do the technical side of it. Because if you Google like best way to start a podcast, you're gonna get you get way too much information.
Yep.
There's just too much out there. And so that to me, it spoke to a very real need. And I thought, that's what I am. I am the megaphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I am the megaphone, and I want to help you know, it's primarily been women. I work with like one dude, and I'm open to working with, you know, people of all genders, of course.
Yes,
of course.
Right.
But primarily I work with women and I help them launch and run their podcasts and get their voices out there and heard. And I love it.
That's why do you think that is? That it's primarily women?
That is, and particularly since you thought it was going to be dudes, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I find that fast, but I'm just curious if has there been like a theme in your clients that you go, oh, well, this is sort of maybe this podcasting platform works more for women, or is it just women ready to speak up? Like, I'm just curious, do you have any sense for that thread of why female clients?
You know, I have a few thoughts on that. And I think part of why I expected it to be primarily men is because I didn't listen to podcasts before I started doing this.
Yeah.
And I was not aware that there are a lot of female voices in the podcasting space, you know, and like we're getting more and more now. So part of it was my own ignorance, right? And then, but part of it is also, I do think, and here's where before we recorded, I told you I'm not very woo-woo, but I'm going to sound a little woo-woo right now. I think, you know, we're seeing a lot of women as a whole claiming their voices.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sure. I think part of the reason why I've gotten, you know, the level of work that I have is because they want to work with another woman.
Yeah.
They could
absolutely.
They could find like a dude editor just as easily.
Right.
But they want to work with me, and I am really honored that I get to work with the people that I do.
Yeah.
Present company very much included.
I love that.
Well, listen, you know, what I have found so refreshing about working with you, Kelly, is, and Holly and I've talked quite a bit about it. Like, we really feel like we get you, like the honest. So, you know, all along the way, you've been very encouraging and supportive, and
yes, because we were one of those women that needed
we had
help.
never even listened to a podcast before I said yes, and we would do the podcast. And I had never listened to one.
Right.
And so our goal was just to get our authentic voices out and create an experience and a conversation that we felt contributed to people. That was really at a very rudimentary level. That's what we were looking to do. And we found, like I said, a champion, a partner, a confidant with you in that process that was authentic and real and honest. So you were a great cheerleader, but you were also like, the hell, like, I mean, you were the whole. We felt like we've known you for a very long time because you just showed up so authentically. And when we talk about law of attraction and you know, living your authentic life and showing up in an authentic way, and you know, being mindful, and how you have shown up for us is 100% what we want to encourage other people to do. So do what you love, do it in a way that feels authentic to you, do it in a way that supports your spirit and gives back to the other people you're working with. And you do all of those things in the best way. Like, like you don't even try, like you just do it. Like, it's so lovely. And so I'm just kind of curious, like, what has been, so you had the one experience with the podcast, you built more podcasts, and then is this sort of your jam, your lane? This is kind of pretty much what you do, is editing and supporting podcast development?
Yeah, at the moment, that is sort of my bread and butter. And God, I just love it. And I don't know, I'm a little flustered now because what you said was just so sweet and really affirming. Because I don't have time to waste pretending to be anyone but exactly the person that I am. You know, and that's beautiful. That doesn't mean I'm gonna, you know, wear like a hooker dress to church or anything. But, like, I might wear. I do have a little like gold heart necklace that has very, very subtle script on it that says "fuck my face."
You'd wear that to church?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the people at church might be old enough; they might not read it. You can't see that.
No one's gonna really get close enough to see it. But I know
No,
it's there.
Yeah.
I wore that thing to a funeral. Like,
Oh my
you know, and
God.
so
Okay,
it's
this is why we love
It's
her,
a
right?
levity.
It's
Oh,
like,
100%. Yes.
fuck your
It's-
face.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
yeah. And so I just, part of it, I
Yeah.
think, comes from that decade of working in retail, right? You have to
Yeah.
be so on in
Yeah.
the most artificial way.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're selling
That's
awful,
unhealthy.
though.
vitamins or flannels at, Basie Benny's.
Basie Benny.
Basie Benny's. You have to.
What did you think about Basie's though, while you were working at the Basie Benny's?
Oh,
Really-
my ex worked for Basie's.
Okay. Well,
Really?
you know,
Yeah,
Okay,
but
well,
what
yeah.
when
Is
we
that
were,
how you met?
What about
No.
Billards? Did you ever work at Billards?
I never worked at Billards.
Okay. Just curious.
Never worked at Billabong either.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
the skater thing for you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not
yeah.
so much, not so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
So
but
you go to church with this necklace and you feel like you are authentically showing, what that says is you're showing up authentically wherever you go
I'm
in
still,
some way, right?
I'm carrying that
Yeah.
precious body core of who I am, and
Yep.
not, having to shut her up in a box
Right.
for 8 hours a day, 4 days a week, because I only work 4 days a week. I don't,
So true.
It's so
I
good.
mean,
I
really, really, yeah.
refuse. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe someday the podcast well will dry up, but I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, honestly, it's like blowing up, I think.
Mhm.
And I think people love conversation, being part of a story, being part of a ongoing conversation. And I think places to do that in an authentic way, even before the pandemic,
Yeah.
was tough.
Absolutely.
You add the pandemic on top of it, and I really feel
Oh,
like this
yeah.
is how people are fulfilling their sort of social outlet, right?
Definitely. And, I do love that you keep coming back to authenticity,
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
when I'm talking to new or potential clients, that is sort of where I will wax poetic. And I will talk about the fact that people really they are starved for authenticity.
Yeah.
And if you can show up in a really authentic way, people are going to respond to that very positively, especially because, and this is where I get a little sentimental.
Yeah.
People talk about human nature and they say things like violence
Right.
are human nature. And I don't think that's true. I think
Mhm.
our most central human essence
Right.
is as storytellers.
Yes.
You know what?
I think that is the
Totally
most
agree.
human thing that we do,
Yeah.
is we tell stories.
And that connects us.
And that connects us. And that's part of why I am able to be a cheerleader for your show.
Mm.
It's because you guys show up and you sit in the stew,
Mhm.
and the way that you tell stories, I love the side tangents that will happen, and the listen, and the wait, okay, and because it feels like exactly how I talk
Right.
with my
Right.
friends,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there is such an intimacy to listening to a podcast,
Yes.
where you get access to people in aspects of their life where no one else can get.
Right. That's true. That's true. I've never even thought about that.
That's very true.
And
Especially when
It's
you're
like
listening with
reality
headphones.
TV, but not the TV part,
Right.
and not the orchestration part.
But I think to your point, like when you have people in your ears and you're listening and it kind of feels like you're there, like you're sort of in the
Mhm.
room.
Right.
And even if you don't have something to say, you can go, oh my God, yes. And you can have your own audible conversation.
Right.
I found myself doing that with other podcasts. Like I'll go, oh yes, that's
Yeah.
so true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you say something right in front of, something Holly would
Right,
say, you
right.
go, and then you're like, yes. And there's like, it's almost like you feel like you're part of the conversation, in an interesting way that is different than watching something on a TV and not
Absolutely.
listening to it in the same way. It's just, and knowing you're not physically in that space. In a podcast, you can kind of almost teleport a little bit, right?
Right.
yeah, and again, very big deal in the pandemic to be able to feel like you're
Yeah.
going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Right.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to tell somebody something. I'm like, oh yeah, my friend was just telling me this. I'm like, oh, that wasn't actually my friend who told me that. That was someone on
podcast.
a podcast that I listened to.
So true
That's
though.
true, though.
You know,
Yeah.
you really
Yeah.
do form that sort of intimate connection, and I get really just positively overwhelmed by the power of that. I just think it's really special. I think it's magical, and that's why I'm glad that I'm in a position where I can say no to the people who aren't aligned and wish them well, and go in peace, but go. And then I can say yes to the people like you who I just feel so fucking excited about working with.
I love that. I also love that you said magic, and you said you're not woo and you're a scientist. So I think, I think you're more woo than you think you are.
I am.
Or maybe you've listened to too many of us. Okay, I don't know.
You guys have been in my ears too much.
I love that. I always say we're practical woo. Practical woo.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I love that.
So tell us a little bit about like kind of the arc of your life, and how you think of your personal development, and what the kind of the hallmark you want to leave on the world, and how the work that you do and the podcast. I mean, I really think it's a revolution. I really do. I think it's just started. I think the power of impactful conversations is something that we probably haven't coveted as a society for long enough, and really understood our part in creating, because it's daily conversations. It's internal within your soul, within your heart. It's external conversations with other people. It's moving conversations forward with family and at work. We all have a responsibility to elevating the world and through conversations and thought, right? So sort of curious, kind of when you think about the arc of what you want in your career, and how podcasts and this new upcoming kind of revolution will have for you. Like what's your long-term goal, and
that's a great question.
It was a rambly one, but
I mean, it was great. I'm going with you. I like it.
Stay on it.
I mean, we are drinking wine and having.
Yes, I mean, I'm gonna get there eventually. Thank you for
Yeah,
catching it.
it's whiskey.
Booker's
It's
whiskey.
good shit.
All right,
I
good.
mean, she's
Only the good shit
she's
for the
no
queen.
joke. We're
Okay,
being
so
a
I'm
little
just
light.
happy that we can
Get together.
satisfy the queen.
Yes.
The queen is
The
satisfied.
queen is
Yes.
killing it over there. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I mean, that is a huge question.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a little unfair, but
Don't ever apologize for being exactly who you are, because I am here for it. I
Oh
just
my God,
really,
I love
I
that.
hope I can match the, energy of that. So if you had asked me sort of what the long-term goal was in 2019, it was a very different answer. Because in 2019, and this doesn't happen very often, but I had one of my very, very rare, really powerful intuitive hits. And I thought, I want to open a podcast studio. I want to have a physical location.
Right.
Where the people, my clients come and they record, and I've got the big board, I had the full visual of it with like me in the booth, big board. And I'm like, I came up with a name, and then pandemic happened. So I am still grappling with whether or not that is going to be feasible. Because, here's the thing. I live in Olympia. And Olympia is big on DIY. Like everyone talks about how grunge and Nirvana and Kurt Cobain and everything came from Seattle. No, it fucking didn't. It came from Olympia.
Olympia is like, it's the hippies of the hippies.
Yes.
I mean, it's the hippies of the dippies. I mean, honestly, yes, you're right about that.
Yes. And so I was like, even if it's not so like, my fiance is a big music guy. So I'm like, maybe we do it together. And like,
he's a music guy.
Yeah, he is.
Is he a performer or audio producer?
So he does like experimental noise music.
Oh
yeah.
And he also does this, I could go on about it, but he does some really cool stuff with, remember cassette tapes?
Yeah. No, they're doing weird stuff.
Yeah, he does tape loops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I totally get this. Okay.
I know.
Or my son did like a whole thing on like rubber band sounds, and
Oh, yeah,
now
yeah.
they're doing the tape, the
Mhm.
tape machines,
big
like
ones.
the big ones,
The
the
big reel
old
reels,
fashioned
yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of really cool things you can get out of that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
he got
This is fascinating.
Yeah, he
That
got
is
this really cool,
fascinating.
like the contact microphone where like you can put it in like the bottom of a bowl and like drum alongside the bowl
Yeah.
and it makes all these cool
Yeah,
sounds. And so
yeah.
he's always doing really
So,
interesting stuff with
Yeah.
sound and music.
So
like
audio
that.
and sound is a big part of
Yes,
your
Wow.
connection with him.
it's a very big part of things. And so I was like, oh honey, you know, what if someday like I start doing like the podcast thing, and then you know some
Yeah.
days it'll be like the music studio for you, and like we can, you know, sell recording studio time to like local musicians at like really affordable prices. Maybe someday. That is still. I love what you guys need to decode these eyebrow.
I know. Okay,
messages that are
so
happening here.
so here's the story. So,
Fascinating.
well, we had a psychic who's very good. She keeps saying, "I see you moving into a physical studio," and that's why she's eyeballing me. Gina's eyeballing me
Well, I
because
saw the studio in my
because
mind.
the studio is great. We're in my house on the 3rd floor, but
It's
it's not a
fantastic.
studio.
Right.
And then I have one on the 2nd floor because my son does some of that
audio. My
same
son
stuff.
does audio. So I
Right,
mean,
so I've got a studio in the 2nd
Yeah.
floor, but we're supposed to move to a real studio.
so keep going.
Anyway,
Keep
that's the
going.
eyebrow.
That's
I'm
very fascinating.
I decoded the eyebrows. That's
Yes,
what she
yes,
kept
yes,
looking
yes,
at me
yes.
for, because like that's supposed to be happening now
Okay.
into 2022.
So we'll be one of your clients at your new studio.
We'll be coming to the hippie, like
We'll go down
Olympia.
to Hippy Dippy Olympia if you
They've
want
got
us to.
great psychics down there. Lisa's down there.
Yeah,
Lisa Holmes.
Lisa's
Yeah,
Lisa Holmes,
she's a
incredible.
great psychic.
Ooh.
Anyway,
Awesome.
I know.
Okay.
Connect you with
Yeah,
Lisa.
I
She's
mean,
delightful.
well, I
Hi,
mean,
Lisa.
you've hosted me, so
Yes.
now I need to host you,
Yes,
and maybe that will happen in my.
I love that idea,
Yeah.
actually. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going on your vision. So your
Yeah.
vision was to have a studio that was part musician, part podcast,
Yep.
and then pandemic happened. So what's your new vision?
I'm waiting.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
gonna come. It's going to come, because here's the thing. A lot of people have had a super rough time business-wise for the
Yes.
pandemic.
Yes,
I haven't.
right.
I am pandemic thriving.
Good for
I
you.
am doing
That would make sense.
Very
It does
well.
make sense.
yes,
Yeah.
because a lot of the people out there, a lot of the women out there who are exactly the kind of people that I want to work with, they've had these ideas, but then life prevented them from
Yeah.
really pursuing it, and then
They've
life ground to a halt.
had some time to
And
think about
so
it.
I had-
right.
I just had like this influx of brilliant, inspired people to work with.
Oh, I
So-
love that.
What has been I think, is there a theme to those brilliant, inspired people and what they're the narrative they want to put out in the world? Is there some sort of, as you've had these new clients coming forward in the pandemic, and primarily women, is there something they want to say? Are there some themes that it's just,
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what's the genesis of the narrative they want to put out? Is there consistency there?
I would say there's a very big thing that they all have in common.
Mm.
They don't compete with each other.
Huh,
Oh,
Not
yeah.
so
one-
true.
Not one single one of them thinks that the woman next to them succeeding means they're gonna fail.
Right.
Oh, I love
They are
that.
all
Thank
That's so-
God.
there's
Thank God. There's evolution for you right
yes. Praise Jesus.
I
Yeah.
know,
And Buddha,
exactly.
and all of
And
them.
all
All
of
the-
us,
all the
they
people.
all,
Yes.
there. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is very much the energy of the rising tide lifts all
Collective.
boats. It's
Collective.
very
Absolutely.
collective. It's so collaborative. I get so happy when I see one of my clients showing up as a guest on another one of my clients' podcasts.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I do a little dance in my chair when
Yeah.
that happens, because it's like I didn't make that connection. I didn't
They
say
did
like,
it,
hey,
but they
I
did
think
it.
you'd be great on this show. No,
Right.
it happened naturally because it is this very genuine desire
Yeah.
Right.
to lift each other up
Yeah.
that I'm seeing.
Support.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, thank God that gives me hope in the human race, honestly, that's been an issue for females for a long time. And I don't think it's all females, but I think it's unfortunately been a little bit of our narrative as females that we don't support one another. Never been my
No.
wiring at
Yeah.
all, but that's fantastic to hear that's those are the voices that are getting the airtime, is people who don't restrict but support. I think it's
Well,
fantastic.
I always think the world is abundant, and so the
Mhm.
abundance is for everyone, and it doesn't mean that if I'm abundant, you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Right.
like if I'm abundant and I can inspire you to be, have that mindset that we're
Exactly.
all abundant. It's not like, we take from anybody.
Right.
I've never understood that. I mean, I struggle with that even in corporate
Yeah.
business, growing up in corporate business, women didn't support other women back when. And I never understood that. And so I'm heartened to know
Yeah,
that,
me too.
the world is changing, and people have a better mindset about that, because the truth is that the world is abundant. Just
It
go out in
is.
nature, go look at it. I mean,
Right.
all the leaves falling, and the rain falling, or wherever you're at, like you see it all the time,
Agreed.
Yeah.
so I love that. So the pandemic has been beautiful for you.
It really has been. Plus, I'm a gigantic hermit, so that really helps.
I love that. We got her out of her hermitness.
I know.
We did.
Listen, and she came
This is
out
a
looking
good
like
thing,
a
like supermodel.
model.
I mean,
I mean-
right? Okay.
I mean,
Girl,
I
when you
saw
only
this-
leave the house once a week,
Yeah.
you gotta bring it.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
here's the thing. You
brought it.
I mean, yeah, you did. Okay, listen.
Yeah. I feel underdressed.
I know.
More than
we
normal.
should start over. We should start the day over, Gina.
Really should. Yeah, no, I mean, the whole thing has been perfect today. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a blast.
Yeah.
I know it couldn't all be on the record, but we've been having a very good time.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
were actually asking, like, what can we
we've
do
not
better?
been overserved yet, but we might be by the
I
end of the
mean,
evening, but I don't know.
maybe.
But
I
you,
don't
not
know.
really. We gotta
We're
be
still
careful, but-
doing good. I mean, it took us a while to get the recorder going, but yes, and we were
Yeah.
picking, because that is one of the beauty
Yeah.
that Kelly, that you were so beautifully highlighted, that Kelly delivers, is this honesty that isn't, I mean, I don't know, it's just delivered with, I think when you deliver, I've always thought this too, when you deliver honesty with heart, then it can't be misconstrued. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we should rip that word off, or whatever we need to do, like
Mhm.
as we're, she's like giving us shouting orders, the royalty is shouting
Uh-huh.
orders to Gina and Holly, and Gina and Holly are just like
We're
getting,
happy.
we're
loved
getting
it.
in alignment. So that was happening while she's drinking her Booker. She's just shouting out orders with her beautiful red heels, and shit's happening here. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, just bring it. But anyway, she does, have that
Yeah.
capacity to, tell us and give us,
Yeah.
just thoughts. And here's the thing is, she's a big deal. I mean, she has fancy
Major
clients.
clients,
She has
yes.
fancy clients.
Major
She has
clients.
fancy, famous clients.
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, are we one of them, Gina?
I don't know, but
Well, I don't know how fancy we are, but
yeah, I won't say the one that we really, really think is fancy. But and I could
There's
try
fancy
and make her
clients.
sound like, Basic Benny's, but I won't, because you would still know who it is. But no, I think, we really have looked to Kelly as our subject matter expert all along from the very beginning, and every step of the way, she does it in a way that's fun and light and direct.
honest.
Yeah, and direct, and which is great. I mean, that's, we need
you-
way more of that in life.
I love that, but Kelly, so like for your fancy clients, because we're the unfancy kind. for
We're
your
gonna be fancy soon, but we're working on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
No, you will.
I
be.
mean,
Uh-huh.
yes, it's so for your fancy clients, you still deliver that same business to them
Oh yeah.
in the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So I want
Yeah.
to just say,
Mhm.
we don't flex ourselves, right?
Mm-mm.
For who the
We get the same Kelly that your fancy
people-
clients get.
Yeah. You get the exact same
I
challenge
bet.
every time. 'Cause-
We feel it actually.
yeah. And do you mind if I tell you a little story
Oh,
about
no, please do.
about
please.
like why
And look
I
at how she's doing her microphone. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna say
she's
this really quick.
fancy. I mean,
That
she's
works
fancy
better.
people.
'Cause
I mean,
it's not as obnoxious.
like
This
we'll
works.
see if the audio comes out okay, because I mean this is only the second podcast I've been on.
No, but you hear them all.
I mean,
Yes,
yeah.
and also if anybody wants to pay me some some money under the table to
Oh.
get the blooper reels for these two.
Oh my God.
Or alternatively, I can be paid for my silence.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
yes.
Oh my
Okay,
God, we should do a blooper
I
file.
kinda
Yeah,
probably should.
You really
We
do.
used to do, I mean, we used to have worse bloopers. We haven't had many lately.
But
I
we
don't
do a pretty good job. Like, don't you think when we start, we usually go all the way through? I mean,
You
there's
do,
maybe
yeah.
some cutouts, but it's the beginning and the end that we like.
Like
custom
we
do
lose
for
our
you,
shit
really.
sometimes.
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, go back to your story.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so my story. So the reason why I try to deliver feedback, we'll call it that. We'll just say it
Yes.
that. Well, I deliver feedback in the way that I do.
Mhm.
It goes back to something that happened with my sister, who I keep talking about. So
I love that.
she is 6 years older than me, and she is one of my best friends, and I love her. But when we were younger, we didn't get along,
Right.
obviously. And I was also a very, very insecure teenager. I mean, who
Sure.
wasn't?
Right.
But I mean, I was super insecure. I remember seeing some cousins that I hadn't seen in 10 years, and I saw them when I was in my mid-20s. And we're having a conversation, and then they said, so you talk now. That's different.
Oh my God.
Like that, we're talking that level of insecure. Like,
Yeah.
I just
you were so introverted.
But you're an introvert
Super.
too,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, but I
Yes.
mean, I'm like an adaptive extrovert. I can.
right.
I
You
love.
do.
I love public speaking.
Yeah. it's
I adore
crazy.
it. I think it's fun. It's like my favorite thing. I'd be
Yeah.
a great cult leader, but
I love that. A
I
cult
actually-
leader.
Don't put that.
Kelly,
I know. I
cult
won't put that
leader.
on your business
I
card.
think she
No.
should. Okay, keep
yeah,
going.
aspiring cult leader and cat rescue owner. So,
Yes, I love
yes,
that.
So
and podcast editor.
yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. So I was very quiet. I was very
Right.
insecure, and I was in the car with my sister, and
Right.
she said a word out loud that she had only ever seen written out before, and she said, "Oh, it's like the epitome
Oh, God.
of this," and whoever else was in the car with us said, "It's pronounced epitome,"
Yeah.
and my sister just went, "Oh, okay,"
Oh, and you would have been
and
devastated.
I would have been
Yeah.
Oh my God.
devastated.
Yeah.
And that was like, I mean, I was like 15 when that happened, and it blew my mind. I'm like,
Yeah.
It blew,
oh,
That she
It's
could just
okay.
blow right by that. and
yeah,
not
it
have
blew
it.
your mind that she could just go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
and not be like traumatized by the fact that she got
I
it
got
wrong.
something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh
so
my
then,
God.
you know, I tried to like embody
Mm.
that ethos and da da da. And then fast forward to I'm 25 now, and I'm in Minnesota for my friend's wedding.
Mhm.
And we're driving, and I said, "Oh wow, there's so many Canadian geese here." And she said, "They're Canada geese. I'm sorry, but they're Canada geese." And I was like, "Why would you be sorry for that? If I got it wrong, I want to know."
I would have
and
gotten
so-
that wrong. Okay.
Yeah, and like,
Canadian sounds better too.
It
Go
does,
ahead.
but keep going.
does.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah, we
it's
think you're right, but
but
nevertheless.
apparently,
I
you
mean,
know,
There's a
we
difference.
apologize to all the Canadians.
Yeah.
For being ignorant, but
geese.
we want to be
Yeah.
ignorant to the
Yeah.
geese. All
Yes.
right. Anyway,
So-
doesn't matter. Okay.
so it was just that combined thing of getting something wrong isn't the end of the world, and you can
Yeah.
handle it with grace and do better.
Yeah.
And then if someone is doing something incorrectly,
Mm.
there is a way that you can tell them in a container that is safe,
Yeah. Yeah.
where it's like, it's good that you made that mistake with me. I'm really glad that you did. Now we'll make sure you're not going to make that mistake with anybody else, because not everybody is going to correct you in a friendly way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I always just try to be that, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know everything.
I love that
But-
though. That's a beautiful story.
It is
Yeah.
because I think we don't always know what I don't say the word demons, but we don't know what people are dealing with and how people are wired and what are the hot buttons for people and I think that perfectionism, wanting to be right, it's one of the big arcs for people, but certainly I think for women.
Well, because you withhold because you think you're going to be wrong, so you withhold, or then you chastise yourself afterwards for a long time. I want to tell you about a calculator.
Okay, I'm listening.
And so I know
I
this
mean,
is
I
about-
don't think Kelly or I ever have used one very often, but you
Yes.
clearly
okay,
have,
so
but yes, yes.
I know. And
She
so,
has a favorite.
well,
she
Kelly
looks at
just
like
found
a
out I'm
demon.
a finance person.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you are a demon.
Well,
on the
I used
calculator.
to do, okay, back in the olden days, I paid for my college. And to pay for my college, I worked nights at a bank and I did the coding at the bottom of the checks. And so when you would go write a check to a grocery store, I would code your $30.25, okay, at night and balance the deposit, and then Safeway or whoever the grocery store would get their money and you'd get that $25, whatever it was, out of your account. So I was so good. And then I would like challenge myself to be fast. That's not the story. Okay, the story is about confidence. And to your point, I've never been fast at calculating math in my brain. In fact, I was the person with the flashcards that would go, huh? 8 minus 3 is what? Okay, like, oh, is it 5? Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, and so I would struggle with that. And so as I was rising up in the ranks, and of course, I am a high-ranking finance person, or I was, either or. Right now, I am.
Yes, yes.
And I would be in these meetings and my face would turn bright red because they would say, oh, what's the calculation of such and such? And I couldn't do it fast in my head.
You'd have to use the calculator.
And I would be, my face would turn red and I would, then using the calculator was very hard because then you're like, oh my God, I'm going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at me and I'm the finance person. And I remember at one point in time, I just was like, fuck it. Okay. Like, listen. And then they'd start making fun of my big calculator because it was a little bit
large,
bigger.
yeah.
It wasn't like a big, huge 10 key, but it was
It's a lot large. I mean,
it was bigger than a
not
phone,
small. Yeah.
a little bit bigger than a phone, people. And so I would take that in and people would somehow, something snapped in my head that I had to say, I'm confident that I really do always usually get the right answer. I'm really actually pretty accurate, but I'm fast, but not when people are looking at me, not in my head.
Yeah.
I need to ground truth it with a calculator, whether it's my Linus blanket, I don't know,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. The point is that once I was confident to release the need for looking perfect in the moment and producing the results, and then I was just like, just give me a second. And I was really okay with it. I mean, life changed for me.
Yeah.
But it was awful. I would turn red. It was like, it was awful. And I'm supposed to be an executive. And I don't know. I mean, it was the worst possible feeling. So I understand that, like that moving through, that whether it's about being, right with what you say or, sometimes you say something wrong and you just have to apologize and move on. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and move on and not beat yourself up. It's the after effects even.
Yeah, because beating yourself up doesn't do anything for anybody.
And nobody likes it either. Nobody liked it.
I don't think people intend you to feel that way.
No, and
by asking the question, I don't think they were intending to put you on the spot and make you feel uncomfortable.
No, that's my role.
That's your role.
They had
Yes,
to,
yes,
but
exactly.
I'm gonna tell you, once I let it go, nobody thought I was less than because I used a calculator. I'm not smart. I never got that. I've never gotten in my whole history that I'm not smart or I'm not good. I've never gotten that in this role. I've never gotten that. And so it's not like that eroded their trust in me because I had to have a fucking calculator. Okay. Like, but in my mind, we create things in our mind that,
it goes back to childhood wounds, right? And the stories you tell yourself,
right?
Or that you heard from someone that you adopt for whatever reason, right?
100%.
Some of it's not even something we felt until somebody planted it, and then you're like, I'm not really good at that.
I love that, but I love that your sister inspired this in you, and she was really your inspiration then.
Yeah, in a huge way, in a very, very big way.
I love that. I'd like to look at her planets. I think her planets probably just inspired her to be, not, be a little more confident, not so.
But it's true. Like are you a Ted Lasso fan?
I have not actually.
Okay.
I've heard really good things.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great.
Some people don't like it, but I love it.
I love it. It's campy, it's fun, it's funny, but it's thought-provoking. And one of the things that he talks about is, and I think we all could benefit from this, is, the most important animal on the planet from a how long you hold on to something that is a goldfish, because the goldfish,
Love
the
that.
memory of a goldfish is 10 seconds.
Mm.
So you gotta, when you screw up, you let it go and move on,
In
and
10
don't
seconds.
hold, in 10 seconds, you remember you did it. And so you can move on, so sort of like your sister was able to go, huh, oh, I didn't know. And she moved on in 10 seconds. That is
I
a
love
wiring
that.
gift that is not celebrated enough. And I think if we could give ourselves some grace and not hold on to that shit and
Yes.
integrate it into who you are and beat yourself up over it, like, be a goldfish. Like
Yeah,
your
I love
sister.
that.
Like your
That's
sister.
our homework.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yes.
say as we screw things up, Gina, I'm a goldfish.
We're a goldfish. 10 seconds, let it go.
Let's go.
Let it
Oh,
go.
God bless Ted Lasso.
I know. Well, like your sister, like that's a great demonstration of that personality is something to aspire to. And not because you don't want to really ponder the important stuff, but I suspect your sister does. Like, if there's something
Oh,
meaningful,
Absolutely.
she holds on to it and she does the work.
Yes.
If it's not, she doesn't beat herself up over the small
I
little
love
stuff,
that.
right?
My
Like,
sister Jen does not suffer fools,
yeah.
and she does not waste time on piddly shit.
I
But
love that.
That
Yeah.
is the law of attraction. Like, pay attention to the important stuff and let go of the shit that doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Be a goldfish.
Be a goldfish.
Yep.
100%. God damn. Ted Lasso, you gotta watch it.
Okay, I will.
So good. It's so
I
good.
mean, we got
love
Thanksgiving
it.
weekend coming up.
Yeah,
as
binge
we,
it.
as we
Perfect
record.
Binge it. It's-
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's yeah.
I mean,
It's
this
fantastic.
will come out after Thanksgiving, but it's always a good listen, but
For
like
sure.
for Thanksgiving, I mean, it's just heartwarming.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about synchronicities, and we talked a little bit before the podcast started about like just how we came together and we had mutual relations and
Yeah.
friends and things. And Ming, it was just been a great supporter of getting our podcast on the
Yeah,
ground,
she
and
was.
and has worked with you for a long time. And so I'm and talking about synchronicities, and we talk about it on the podcast too, about like signs, about synergies. And so I think how we met you and the way you showed up for us was so perfect. And then, there's some synchronicities between you and Holly that I think we should talk about. So
I mean,
I know,
Yeah.
listen,
I mean,
both
listen.
these ladies have
we gotta
decided.
know what this is.
Yes.
Before we go today.
Go for it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
listen, Miss Kelly. So I have got my feather tattoo right here. I'm showing it. You have to get on YouTube.
Mhm.
You gotta
see it.
you gotta get on YouTube.
You gotta get on
Yeah, you
YouTube,
got it.
and then you gotta see. You gotta
Okay.
kick that bad boy up.
Okay, I usually
We-
make people pay for me to put feet on
Oh
camera.
Oh, look at that. Oh my
So
God, that's
do-
so beautiful.
It's
Yes.
gorgeous. Tell
Yes.
us the story of
Okay.
how
Of
and
my
why and
Of
of
your
my
feather.
feather tattoo.
Your feather
Yes.
tattoo.
So, and I will say for the record, this isn't a thing where I told Holly and Gina the story beforehand, and
No.
now I'm telling it again for like just for the podcast.
We've
No,
never
we've
heard the
never
story.
heard the story.
They don't know the
We
story
didn't even know you had a feather tattoo until we had.
until Lauren Featherstone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Lauren Featherstone came on, and you talked all about like feathers and then like walking down the street and the
Mhm.
feathers, and I was like, I need to let them know that my one and only tattoo so far is a feather.
That
Right.
is amazing.
Mine too.
So.
Okay, tell us the story.
So in April of 2010, a very, very good friend of mine died really unexpectedly. And I knew that I had to go to her funeral. It was very important to me.
Yeah.
So she lived in Jersey,
So like a
Um,
childhood friend?
an internet friend actually, but like
Okay.
a really close one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
when I hung out with her, it was just like, there you are.
Connection.
Yeah.
You know that feeling of
No, I know.
Oh, we
Soulmate
do know.
energy,
There you
yeah.
are.
We do know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I do see a lot of my old dynamic with Amber, that was her name, Amber, in you guys, and it makes me so
Yeah.
happy.
Oh,
So
I
it
love
feels like
that. That's
it
nice.
makes it
Thank
feel
you.
like that energy lives on in a way.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed to go to her funeral, and there was another gal who flew out from LA, and I was flying out from Seattle, and so we kind of like connected there, and that gal told me, she's like, you know who I saw at the Burbank airport? Ron Jeremy.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Who's Ron Jeremy?
The,
Okay.
the porn star.
He's a porn star.
Oh my God. Apparently I need to
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's like,
He's got quite the print.
he is pure.
What does his gray sweatpants look like?
You don't need the sweatpants, it's on camera. Girl.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
But,
he
okay.
doesn't cover it up.
And
Really?
No.
How come? When do I get to see him?
Okay, you don't want to.
No,
One,
you
he
don't.
He is pure sleaze.
Yeah.
Pure-
Not an
But do I
attractive
want to
human
see
being.
it?
No, you don't. You don't.
Okay.
We're talking 70s porn stuff.
Oh yeah.
Mustache
Oh
and-
no.
Yeah.
No.
And yeah, like
Mm.
I mean, that's not to say there aren't guys with a mustache and a gut that can get
Work
it,
it,
but
yeah,
he's not.
I mean, you don't need to qualify that.
He is not one of those
Hey,
guys.
I apologize for
Yes, it's okay.
misdirecting us.
Yes.
Okay, go back to your story.
So
I
she
apologize, I
said,
didn't know who that was.
she said, it's Ron Jeremy. That's crazy. And I was like, God, Amber would find that so fucking funny.
Yeah.
That you saw Ron Jeremy in the
Yeah.
airport
On the way to her
her
funeral. Oh my God. Okay.
So I had already decided that I wanted to get a tattoo to honor her.
Yeah.
I was 25 and I was like, I was about to turn 25. I was like, I want this tattoo. I want to do it. And Amber loved fireworks. And so it's like, maybe I could get a small tattoo of a firework. And so I met up with the guy who was Amber's boyfriend at the time. His name was Russ. And he's like, okay, yeah, there's a tattoo artist that Amber's been to.
Oh, cool.
I'll take you there.
Oh, yeah.
And so I talked to her and she said, listen, you can't get a tattoo of a firework because you'd have to do like a black patch to have the fireworks
To make it show up. Right.
Is there anything else that you would want? And Russ said, well, she was always talking about getting a tattoo of a feather because I called her an angel and she said, if I'm an angel, I'm a fallen angel.
Oh.
And so she wanted tattoos of feathers falling down her back.
Oh, that's
God.
beautiful.
And so
Mm.
I was like, okay,
Mm.
yeah, I'll do that. And the tattoo artist said, okay, I'll do a drawing, come back tomorrow, you can approve it and do the tattoo. And came back, saw the drawing, loved it, she did the tattoo. And then, here's the other thing about Amber. Amber could bring the sleaze. She was bawdy. Her favorite thing was to call something, she'd be like, that's rockstar shit. Like she'd have a crazy weekend, it was rockstar shit. But she could also bring the class.
I love that.
Because here's the thing.
Oh,
I
love
was
that.
there and I decided that I wanted to have a Philly cheesesteak because we were in Jersey,
Oh,
but we
yeah.
were really close to Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go to Philly cheesesteak place. So I'm
Yeah.
with Russ, the boyfriend,
Yeah.
I'm with that other gal who came out from Burbank. And we stop at this Philly cheesesteak place and we decide like, oh, do we want to go to this one? Because they're right across the street from each other, right?
Oh,
These
yeah,
two competing Philly
competing,
right,
cheesesteak
competing.
places, right?
Yeah.
We're like, let's go to this one. So we're sitting there and I see, I'm like, it's a lot of black SUVs going by.
No.
That's a lot of black
No.
SUVs.
No.
Who do you think got out of that but Joe motherfucking Biden?
No kidding. At the Philly cheesesteak place?
At the Philly cheesesteak place, I turn around and he's standing behind me and we shook hands.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, she's like, yeah. You think I can only bring the
Rockstar.
sleeves? No, I bring the class too. I'm gonna give you
Yeah,
half
yeah.
time. I'm also
I'm
gonna
gonna
give
give you
you.
rockstar shit.
Here's
Yeah.
rockstar shit. Here's the vice president, bitch.
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
Oh, I
my
love
God.
that.
we almost didn't go
To that one.
but we went to that one. And then just to put a cap on the whole thing, we were internet friends from a diary website. Think live journal, but not.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
I would have been a good young person. I would have liked all that shit.
Yeah, you would've.
oh my God, you would have
I would have
you
loved
would have
it.
been
Mhm.
you would have
You
you would have
love all
owned that
stuff.
site
Yeah.
basically.
I would
Yes.
have loved that.
Yeah, you
Makes
would've.
me sad. Okay, but anyway,
I mean, you still can.
I mean, I
You
might.
still can. You're gonna.
Yeah. Yes.
Taking
Rockstar shit.
Rockstar shit.
Rockstar shit.
I love this
Yeah.
Amber lady.
Yes,
I love
oh my
her.
God.
Yeah.
I love her spirit.
And so it was, I had gotten back to Washington and, my tattoo was healing and I take it and I'm showing it to people. And then I was like, I miss Amber. I'm going to read through some of her old diary entries.
Oh.
And because it was still up,
Oh yeah. Oh.
And there was an entry that I had forgotten all about from about a year before she died, where there was a picture.
Mm.
She's like, oh yeah, I think I want to get a feather tattoo. And I want it to look like this. It looked
It's exactly.
No way.
exactly
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh,
I
I love that.
love
I would
that
love. Do
story.
you have a picture of that? Of her version?
I've got it somewhere.
Okay.
It's buried
I-
somewhere.
I
But-
love that is the best story. And you know what? For a girl that doesn't believe in woo, like
I know.
that Amber walks with you.
Yeah.
And that feather tattoo was meant to be how you were led to that.
Yep.
I mean, and you were just open to like, okay, whatever. If it
That
can't be a
looks great,
firework,
and it
then
ends up
it's gonna
being-
be what it is. And
you know, she was whispering in that tattoo artist's ear the whole
Exactly.
time, but make it look like this. No, to the right, like arc it a little bit more. Yeah.
We
Yes,
never, our
exactly.
souls never die.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't believe that. They never
Mhm.
die and they're around. And it's such a beautiful story. I
Just
love that.
sort of
And
the
just
wink and
messing
the
with
nod,
you
yeah.
with Biden and whoever that porn person is. I don't know who that porn
I'm
person
Jeremy.
is.
Don't look him up.
Don't look them up.
Yeah,
Save
really
yourself.
don't. Just
Save yourself. And if you have, if there's anyone
Don't.
watching,
Yes.
listening who's younger, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I'm
Save
not
yourself.
doing it. I'm not
He
doing
was
it.
a joke. Like the only reason I know who he is because he's sort of like the
The
joke
joke of the
around.
porn
Yeah.
Yes, because
Mhm.
yes. And then if you look him up, you'll understand why. But just don't do it.
I
It's
really
just
want
better.
to.
No,
I really want to.
Just make sure you have safe search on.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're gonna have porn everywhere, right? Yeah, no, I don't want that.
No,
That
you
would be
don't-
very
you don't.
bad. I don't need that.
No, you don't need that.
I'm
no.
distracted enough as it is. So I don't need more distractions. No. Say no, Gina.
I know. I try not
Oh my
to.
God. Well,
Okay,
I
that's a
love
beautiful
this
story.
chat.
Yeah. So what else? Is there anything else that you think, when you think
Absolutely.
about our LOA listeners, I mean, you've listened to every podcast that
I
we've done.
have.
God
Yes.
bless you. God bless you.
I know, poor thing.
When you think about that, Kelly, can you cut that out?
I know.
When you think about the podcast,
We should keep that in just because
I
that's
know
what we
we
do.
kind of might. Yeah, that's what we
When you
normally do.
cough, that's the usual.
I know.
And I'm really good at picking it up after you cough.
You do.
Do you
yeah.
notice that I do well? When she
Yeah.
We
coughs and
try to
carries
pick
on,
back up
she
pretty
goes,
quickly,
Kelly, and I'm
right?
like, and I go right into it so that you can edit it nicely.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it really speaks to the mental
The synergy,
connection we
yeah.
got going there.
Yeah.
The synergy. Sometimes I don't like. For all I knew, you were doing it via eyebrow the whole time.
Oh.
but-
Oh, no. Okay, well, listen, so, is there anything else that you think from a listener standpoint that, you feel like your story, your experience, your partnership with us, what part of your journey is important for people to hear around law of attraction, living your authentic life, mindfulness, like any of that?
Yeah, there is actually something. I didn't really have the mental shift until recently. And I would say I was like 31, 32 when this
Yeah.
happened. I'm 36 now.
Mhm.
I had the mental shift where I finally realized, and when I say realized, I mean in a way where I felt it,
Yeah.
that my life was something that I was creating, not something that was happening to me.
Mm,
Mhm.
And
so good.
I'm not in the habit of regretting things.
Right.
Even when I'm in a point in my
Yeah,
life
That's
where
so good.
I
Yeah.
feel kind of miserable,
Yeah.
I don't regret the choices that I made that took me where I am.
Mhm.
I do still feel a little bit of regret that I didn't realize that sooner.
I get that.
You know,
I
And
get
I'm like,
that.
Yeah.
if I had only felt that power,
Mhm.
you know,
agree with
in
that.
a way where it's like, and I'm not going to sit here and say that like, oh, like I'm not privileged. Like, of course I have privilege and I
Yeah.
have luck.
Yeah.
Those things have
Yep.
played a huge role in me being where I am today. But, if I had just realized that what is the to be gained by taking a
Right.
more active role in creating a life that I want to
Right.
live.
That's so good.
It is, and I actually don't believe in luck. I think you were creating
Mhm.
that. You were creating your own luck, and I think that too. So I'm not a regretful person either, and
No.
I'm like, okay,
Well, that's
we're here.
goldfish-ish.
That is goldfish-ish.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is. Mhm.
And I think the same thing. I wish I would have known younger because the power
The power you have.
that you
that's
have
revealed,
to
yeah.
to orchestrate your life.
Mhm.
And it's not to say that you don't have ups and downs. Everybody has that. That is part of the journey. I mean, that we wouldn't
Mhm.
have ups if we didn't have downs. We wouldn't
Right.
know what the hell it was. Okay, so
Right.
you know, but to have that power is a beautiful thing, and to understand that you own that. I wish I would have known that too.
Yeah, that's a great, because we talk a lot, you've heard a lot of the podcasts about, you know, yes, there are some things you can't foresee, and there will be some things that happen, but you can 100% react to it in a way that leverages that situation in a positive way, as much as positive as you can. And you know, there. Oh,
Is that your phone?
yes, it is.
Oh, it's not mine. Okay, Kelly, can you edit that out?
Yeah, sorry, Kelly.
Kelly, edit that out.
Kelly, can you edit that
Sorry,
out?
Kelly. Okay, Kelly.
Okay, listen, we are a half hour late for our,
Are we?
yes, okay,
All right. Well, who
Okay.
cares?
okay.
Okay, so, but I do think, you know, being able to leverage choices and make them important it's huge. It's huge, and we all have that. We all have it.
Yeah.
So,
You know, it's funny. The thing that made me realize it
yeah.
was so small. It was plants.
How's
Really?
I used to joke with my mom. She would want to come out and visit, and she'd want to buy me plants. And I'd be like, Mom, you know I can't keep plants alive. I can't do it. I got the opposite of a green thumb. I do. And then there was the day where my very good friend Bryn was going to move to the Virgin Islands, which awesome. And she's like, will you take care of my plants while I'm gone? And I was like,
do I have to? Do you want them alive?
As every good friend says,
Yes.
do I have to?
Do I
and
have
I
to?
was just like, and then I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna become somebody who keeps plants alive.
Because they're hers.
And you did, because
And
you
I-
loved her.
Yeah, and I love it. And she has,
See,
you know
I
what?
love, that's a great plant story.
that
Yeah.
is.
Fish, plants,
So
we
just-
cover it all here.
Mhm.
just like it was something really small. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna become a millionaire tomorrow. It was like, you know, I'm gonna become somebody who
I'm gonna
doesn't
figure
kill
this out.
plants.
Mhm.
And I did.
Because
and
of
like,
her. Right.
yeah, and now I have this
Oh, I
one
love that.
beautiful pothos where like it has this vine that's growing up, and I have it like on hooks along my ceiling, and my room looks like a friggin' jungle, and I love it. It was something-
And you helped
Yeah.
grow that, right?
I did, and it was
You know,
something
that is
small.
so beautiful, actually.
I'm gonna do it next week, because the tea and the turkey and me and the brine, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. But I'm gonna be one with this turkey, Kelly, right?
You
So
are.
I'm gonna be able to like not make it dry and creepy, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
you're
able
gonna
to
do
touch it.
all the things.
I'm
to that
sorry,
turkey.
vegetarians. I am gonna cook a turkey. I apologize, but
Listen,
I
I
apologize.
guarantee you, no matter how badly you fuck up that turkey, it's not gonna be the worst turkey anyone's had.
That is so
No,
true.
that
There's
is
no
true.
way.
But
Yeah.
listen, I'm gonna put the whole plant perspective on
Right.
it, and just say, I can do this. This turkey is
I'm
gonna be
gonna put-
fantastic. It's gonna
Yeah.
be, I'm gonna put love in it.
Yep.
I think when you put love into your plants, they feel it. It's a
Oh, yeah.
living thing. The turkey isn't living anymore.
No, but you're feeding the people that are living with the
And-
turkey. So think about it from that
Oh,
perspective.
I know you wanna laugh, but also like,
I'm like, what am I doing?
no, you're gonna
Yeah, I fixed you. You went down a bad road and I helped you. I got you out of the
You
cul-de-sac and
always
got you back on the road.
fix me, Gigi. You always fix me.
but you're gonna honor its life by
No,
making
absolutely.
it something, you know,
We're
gonna
bless
nourishing
it,
and good,
Nourishing
you
the
know?
children and your
Yeah.
family and your
That's
mother.
right.
I mean, this
And
is
we're gonna
perfect.
bless it. It's gonna be great.
Yes, all primed up and blessed.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
by the time this
We
comes
cannot
out,
bless
the
it. We cannot
turkey-
end on that.
hashtag grind, hashtag blessed.
That might be the title of this podcast.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Ride and blessed with the queen.
I love it. Oh my God.
I love it. Okay, anything else you'd like to share? Like, do you feel like our podcast listeners, I mean, do you want to apologize on our behalf or anything? I mean,
No,
I mean, this is where you're powerful.
I really, yeah.
You're really powerful right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would just say everyone who is out there listening, who, you know, has been tuning in for a while, you're very lucky because
Aw.
you're going to be able to say, oh yeah, I was listening to them from day one, and now they are booking out not the Hilton,
No, Hilton.
No,
but, you
Hilton.
know,
Yeah.
they're
Sorry, Hilton.
yeah,
But
Yes.
sorry Hilton.
Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Staples Center,
Yeah.
maybe, or like
Like,
The
the
Earth
Coliseum in
Arenas.
Rome. I mean,
Yeah.
we could come up with some good
Oh, yeah,
places.
yeah.
Not
I
the
mean,
Hilton.
Let's go foreign, international.
Yeah.
They like us, international.
Yes.
And you'll be with us.
I hope so.
Our,
I
yeah.
wanna.
our international woman of mystery.
Yeah.
We start with it, we end
Oh,
with
yeah,
it.
with it. And it's a perfect circle.
Bada bing.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being with us. We're so excited to finally meet you. How
And
crazy
we're
is that?
actually, the podcast is
A little
fantastic.
giddy.
We cannot wait to go out for drinks and dinner.
I know.
That's
We're
really what
hungry.
we're off to.
We're really
right?
waiting.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's gonna be so good. Yes.
We'll leave the bookers here and then we go get something fabulous.
Oh my
somewhere
God,
else. Yeah.
thank you, Kelly, for taking care of us, for being our stewards and our cheerleader and our everything
Truly.
so very much. We appreciate you. You had so many great nuggets for our
Yeah.
audience. I love all the wisdom you gave them today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
we appreciate you.
It's been my honor, for real.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Queen Kelly.
Queen Kelly,
She
she's
is the
here.
shit.
She's out. We're going for drinks.
I know. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.